our partners and friends. It is my pleasure to invite here to the stage our good friend of ours who for many, many years kept working, sometimes invisibly, the U.S. congressman of many terms, congressman from a grand state of Ohio, and he's currently the head of the most influential conservative Republican platforms of the United States, the Council for National Policy. So please welcome Bob McEwen, the congressman, leader of the Council for National Policy in the United States.
Supporting and prayers.
Thank you, Pavel, and thank all of you. Mr. President and distinguished leaders of this country, General Kellogg, and the representative of distinguished guests from around the world, I bring you greetings from the Congressional Prayer Breakfast in Washington, D.C. that meets weekly on this, the first day of the 35th year of independence of Ukraine. In 2022, all of the experts, the media experts, military experts, political experts said that Russia could overrun Ukraine in a week. They didn't know Ukraine. Ukrainians love freedom, and freedom is God's idea. Freedom is not man's idea. The scripture says, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. And any politician that seeks to take your liberty must seek to destroy your relationship with God. History has given the example. Pol Pot not only killed anybody who went to church, he killed anyone who owned a Bible. Mao Zedong killed millions of believers
Мао
in China.
Цзедун вбив мільйони віруючих у Китаї. Ленін
Stalin sought to control the church, and even more so when the independence and freedom-loving Ukrainians, when he couldn't control them, he decided to starve them. You know, separation from God leads to death. There's a term for it that these people pursue. That term is called sin. Sin is anything that separates us from God. And the wages of sin, sin when it goes to pay off, the wages of sin is death. The scripture says that sin, when it is conceived, sin, when it gives birth, it brings forth death. Man without God always ends up killing. And that's why Christ said, I am come that you might have life. I am the truth and the life. He that hath the Son hath life. And so at this prayer breakfast, we are committed to recognizing and to pray that individuals, our nation, our armies will be united in the spiritual understanding that it is God that brings peace. Peace in our hearts and peace in our nation. And then, as Ronald Reagan said about Americans, he said they love peace, but they love liberty. And they will negotiate for it, they will sacrifice for it, but they will never surrender for it. And so it is with President Trump, who hates war, but he loves peace and liberty. Ukrainians hate war. Ukrainians love liberty. And that's why in this historical time, we are so blessed and fortunate to have a man like General Keith Kellogg, respected in the military around the world, and yet has the ear of the president as no one else who has a love for liberty and a love for Ukraine. And so let me close with this single thought. Have you ever wondered what the Lord does when he gets up in the morning? You ever wonder what God does for a living? He doesn't build houses. He doesn't grow corn. It says in the scriptures what he does every day. He says, the eyes of the Lord go back and forth, go to and fro throughout the whole earth to show himself strong on behalf of them whose heart is turned toward him. I'm going to say it again. The eyes of the Lord are looking. When he gets up in the morning, we got our ear pads on, we're going around. He's trying to get, if you have a teenager, when you want to get their attention. God is looking for those whose heart is turned toward him so that he can show himself strong on their behalf. That is what Ukraine has chosen to do. That is why you are here. God bless you, and God bless our freedom.
Дякуємо. Дякуємо конгресмену,
A
очільнику.
thank to the congressman and to the leader of the Council for National Policy and member of the team of National Prayer Breakfast